Good morning, Naveen. Welcome to the presentation. Today we are going to discuss about the change management, right?
Yes, sir.
So very important. During the exceptional circumstances now where we are now, the change management plays a very vital role. You know, see, there is a company in Kuwait. The company name is Al-Shaya.
Okay.
They are into retail business. They have employees around 15,000 employees spread across the GCC. Not only Kuwait, neighboring countries, and they have widespread, and they have outlets like Starbucks retail outlets, then all the quality brand, if you name out any quality brand, all that they have. So around 20 years with the GCC countries. I was in Dubai, and again I've been to Dubai for a government project, as a subject matter expert assessor, because Dubai government now ranking happiness index worldwide 14th rank. They brought all the SMEs across the world. They selected the cream of the creams, and we played as an assessor. The UAE government would like to be number one in terms of happiness index. So in this context, they invited a panel, subject matter SMEs from across the world, from Canada, from US, from Canada. One Mr. Peter came. It was amazing person. He runs a company on his own. He's a pioneer in quality management system, ISO, and also he's a pioneer in innovation management, expert.
Okay.
He was in my team, and my job is to go to the federal entities at the top level in Abu Dhabi. I was staying there in a hotel, Rotana Hotel, for a month. Met Minister of Finance, Minister of Foreign Affairs, been to UAE University, Fahar, a nuclear entity. My job is to gather all the top level, high level meeting with the top executives. Then I go to the respective department, human capital and innovation management. The whole team assembles here. Then I probe questions. How far they are progressing towards in alignment with the national agenda, being number one. What are the happiness initiatives they have taken? So these are all the questions I probe. It's out of the subject, but no, still is triggered. I don't know how it's triggered. I'm just sharing with you. It's a wonderful experience, very enriching experience. And then we had a grid. We assessed the entities in terms of their efficiency and effectiveness. This is the grid we used. See, capabilities assessment tool. We have assessment criteria, effectiveness and efficiency. Learning and development. 20% weightage for the learning and development, efficiency for 20%. Then effectiveness 60%. Then we rate them. Now where they are standing, 10, the range of 10, and then 15 to 30, 40 to 60, 65 to 85, 90 to 100. So, and then we have to write a executive summary after coming back. The hotel I used to write, and then I have to recommend best practices. Then there will be a jury panel from Harvard business professors and scholars. They come and sit across the table. They ask questions, millions of questions. I have to defend my case, and why I'm saying amazing, why I'm downgrading. I have to justify, and I have to rationalize, and then I have to again, if there is any issues, then I have to go back and then fix the issues, and then I have to submit. Finally the entity has to take this our report. They have to get the buy-in. That is a challenge we had, and successfully, alhamdulillah, we did a good job, and we got a good. I got an invitation from Prime Minister office, and we have been treated as VIPs. Very, very important person, and wherever we went, we had a very good relationship with the higher level executives, and they treated us very well. And the country opening themselves, they are open. They had a guts to invite people to come on. What may they allowed us to assess the sensitive areas. We had a privilege to visit the confidential issues, all that. Okay, now I'm coming back to this Al-Shaya. Similarly, this Al-Shaya is a privately owned company in Kuwait. They are spreading across GCC and even African countries. They are aiming for to drive the change and to find a better ways of working. I mean, audible, clear, everything. Audio is okay. Okay, great. So be a role model of change. Like a UAE government, they would like to be a role model for the change, and they want to redesign their processes. and then they want to lay a foundation for the future success and create something new. They want to venture into innovation management. They would like to explore more and also leave a legacy. It's amazing, right? This is a roadmap they had, agenda. Given this scenario, the agenda, the roadmap, milestones, they are looking at in a 3 dimensions, like systems, processes, and people. Among this, if you look at people in dimensions, very important. I have to lower my voice, or okay?
No. Okay.
So adoption, optimism, and commitment, buy-in from the people. People look for what is in it for me. Even I addressed in the other video. You would have seen implementing the ADKAR model. There also we have seen. I'll be elaborating next presentation. The people dimension is very important. See, nowadays this is a classic example. The current crisis, the exceptional circumstance. What all the companies, big facilities, infrastructure, all been closed down. Even the churches, institutions, masjid, everything is empty now. Only people matters. Now virtually telecommuting, people matters. People make a difference, right? So this is obvious in the crisis situation like this. People make a difference. Within this scenario, given this background, we are going to discuss the process, systems, and I'm going to use some marker, place some pointer. See, the people may make a very important role here. People, and this overlapping. It's a interlinked. So if you look at the inner core, it's a change role. Given as given you, they are giving you the opportunity to implement the change. You can be a change agent, being catalyst. You make the change, but then you disappear. This is a job we're supposed to do as a credible activist. So we have 3 dimensions: people, systems, and processes, right? So how we are going to align, if you have any questions, you can ask, and you can address through email, or you can contact me WhatsApp, all that. I'm always available. Okay, can I proceed, Naveen? It's okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, next one. Okay. So if you, Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change, and change is inevitable. That's a constant change. Even the post-COVID crisis, the whole business scenario is going to be, paradigm shift. We are going to have tremendous shift. We are not going to carry away by what we were doing earlier. It's going to be a new norm, new regulations, all that. So organizations live in ever-changing environment, and their survival depends on their ability to adapt to a new demands and opportunities. If you look at Darwin's theory, what he proposed, Darwin, survival of the fittest, biological theory. Everyone believed, and we got the buy-in from. But these days, I strongly recommend survival of the fastest. Whoever have the agility, whoever can, able to, adapt, they can only, sustain and cope up with the change. Do you agree?
100%, sir.
Okay. So how we can go about successful change? I think you would have seen the video which I shared with you yesterday. I think the ADKAR model. So this is ADKAR. They given the background prelude. Awareness of the need for change, then desire to anticipate and support the change. Now see, these 2 are very important. Awareness and desire. I can go and attend any training program. Even I attended a Six Sigma, all that, and any programs I can attend. Analytics, artificial intelligence, machine language, all that. But if I don't have awareness, or if I don't have desire, and I simply sitting, it doesn't make change in me. I cannot. That training program is a waste of time, right? Do you agree or not? Because the
100%.
awareness and desire is important. Then I build my knowledge on how to change. This too will come. Knowledge and ability will come in the transition period. Okay, knowledge on how to change. I need to have the ability to implement the required skills and behavior. Then comes reinforcement. Okay, the reinforcement to sustain the change. If I don't do the reinforcement, what will happen? I ask you a question, straight question.
We'll go back to square one.
Amazing, bravo, amazing. This is what happens. Backsliding happens, right?
Yes.
Okay, let us move to the next one. You are very good. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now we did a pulse check. We do a survey, and then we did survey given the scenario of the prelude which I gave you, the roadmap, the milestones what we want to leave a legacy and want the innovation management. So we did a pulse check, and then we found out the embracers and adapters and rejectors. You see the table on the corner bottom. You can see the table: embracers, adapters, and rejectors. If you put it in a percentage of the seniors in a segment of senior segment, like managers and above, 50% are embracers, and 40% adapters, and 5% rejectors. In the middle layer, 10% embracing, and 80% adapters, and 10% rejecting. Junior levels, 5% only they are embracing, 90% adapters, and 5% rejectors. Okay. So if you look at embracers or promoters, those who embrace the idea, those who are getting the buy-in, they are 80%. Those who accept, passive, those are accepting but then passive, they don't do. We are 5 boys. I'm the 4th one. My dad used to give a lot of instruction. I say always, yes, dad, yes, dad, yes, dad. But I don't do. I give, then say, my dad used to say, what you are saying, yes, but they are not, like that, passive. So then rejectors come, rejectors and detractors and resistors,
So this is the NPS study, no?
Yeah, it's an NPS study. Now I ask you a question. Among these 3 people, human capital expert, Naveen, given this scenario, who will you address among these 3? Will you cater to the embracer or acceptor or rejecter? Who will you address first? Given the chance, among this numbers are there.
I will try to convert the acceptors to promoters, because that is a major chunk of 50%. So if from that 50%, if at least 30% can become promoters, that will increase the promoters' value. But retractors are very important, because they have the potential to disturb both the acceptors and promoters.
You said just now, they are very important. They are the disruptors, So I would go by the tackling first the rejectors, because they are the one. They are like a poison. They are actually we need to attack it first. So I will prefer to go for that. So let us move on to the next one. Okay. So how develop a change action across the 4 adoption levers? Okay. Understand, as I told you, the first we need to understand the rejector group, specific change. What are the specific change needs? We need to understand what is the need. We need to have conceptual clarity. Something mean to you, for example, something mean to you as an apple, and they are perceiving like orange. So you need to look at why they are looking at that as an orange. They are not able to see as apple. So that's what we need to work out strategy. Then we need to understand the embracer group specific change needs. We need to tackle what's specifically what is the need they have. Then we need to convert accept passive group to it's easy actually. The first job is a hard job. That's why the brain Tracy says in his book, eat the frog first. Put first things first. Stephen Covey says, and that's a book called Eat the Frog First. What he's saying is actually put the difficult task in the morning and tackle it. That's very important. Okay, now given the scenario, develop the change action across the 4 adoption levers. Here, if you look at the 4 adoption levers, if you look at I want, there are people who are having I want. There are people with the I can, that kind of attitude. There are people who I should. But they are looking for what is in it for me. And there are people I must. What are agreed actions? So let us look at I want. Create and provide a positive experiences. These people, their aspiration is good. They are looking for I want something. So we need to communicate. You need to conduct a curiosity workshops. Curiosity is a good thing. It's a curious. Everyone has to be curious. Even entrepreneurs are supposed to be curious. Then workshops you can facilitate change and culture workshops, right? Then you can go for I can help business believe in future destination. These people are able to do jobs. If you look at the task and people oriented leadership, now this COVID crisis, when you are you are given the scenario of handling the people telecommuting. People are working virtually. There are some of your subordinates, they are looking for a supportive role. Naveen, they are looking up to you. You have to say, come on, guys, bravo, you did a wonderful job, which I wrote to you, you did an amazing job. Somebody scored very well, and you come out. So that kind of passage. There are some other people, Naveen, you may direct the people. You have to give specific direction. You may direct them. No, this is what you do. They may know how, they may not know. So that's how you want to tackle. Help business to believe in the. You have to help them to comprehend what you are envisioning for them. So training videos you can show, change leader training, answers their questions with the focus group forums, you can do that. Then you are tackling I should, what is in it for me, motivational speeches like influence, you can motivational video you can show them. Now we agree, like a campaign, you can may roll out a campaign, or video endorsements you can do, accountability workshops, RASI charts you can prepare, or workshops. These are the things you can do. And then I must, this category, what are the agreed actions, or what you call the SLAs, or agreed KRAs, key result areas. What does this system mean for me? Make an agreement. And rejector sessions, problem solve workshops. This you can assign engaging this I must category segment. So different categories, different segments, and how you are going to bring the compatibility, how you are going to have synergy of all these people. That's the challenge. This is how you have to tackle. Then you have to move to the next one. Okay, next one. See, look at this. Okay. Here, now are you with me, Ramin?
Yes, sir.
So one of the purpose of the change, you can see the big screen, everything is visible, audible.
Yes, sir. No, it's not big screen. It's in the presenter view.
I see.
Now it's perfect.
Perfect. Now?
No, now it again, don't click on use presenter view, because when you...
Okay. Now if you look at this, there are some companies with aligned goals, with the action plans, MBA management by objectives, all this been set. And the tip of the iceberg, that is goal and action, but the embedded ones are beliefs and experiences, right? These are aligned and they can able to achieve the goals. But there are, remember, people pursue their own priorities. They have their own agenda. What is in it for me, and they have goals and objectives. Your job is to align with individual with the group objectives, right? So generally they work for themselves, not as a global objectives. So how will you align your team? That's a challenge, right? Okay. See, there are some companies you would have seen, Naveen, change without alignment. They go here and there, but they're pulling different directions. There is no alignment. It's very nice nightmare. How do you achieve? So the bringing alignment, it's very, very important. It has to come from the individual level. First you need to build, and then it has to go with the team, group level. Then as a group, task level, individual, then task level, then group level. You need to, then likewise you have to cascade and then carry out the buy-in from the different level, transfer or cascading to different level. Okay, next one. If you look at this graph, performance, in the given scenario, there are, this is a typical Hubler, he's a psychologist. When the people go through the pain process, it's a psychologically, they developed, it's a medical background, with a medical background, but it's applied in a change management also, where the performance and time, people don't get the buy-in upfront, when you introduce a new change or a new programs, they don't get the buy-in upfront. So it's a habit, they slowly, develop a habit, then they have to alter, then they get they evolve to the new circumstances, then they get motivated, right? Okay, this is a typical change process. Now, people, when you introduce a new change, what happens? That's the answer. Can I cope up with the change? Now the COVID crisis has come. I mean, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, the COVID crisis has come. You are making now everything going online, virtual, and then they have, can I cope up with this, online stuff, all that, they have some anxieties there, because of technology. I want to use a new system, things like that. Then comes happiness. At last, something is going to change, and they get some taste of the change. Something is happening, cooking, and then there's a fear element also. What impact this will have? How will it affect me? That fear element. And then there is a denial. Change? What change? This is bigger than I thought. They may think, they thought something, but it's taking them to a different direction. Challenges pulling them, so they have to stretch more. So that's a thing here happening. Then there's a threat element. If I don't do, it's fear of insecurity creeping in. All this are coming in. Then guilt. Did I really do that? No, because they are risking. The coming out of the status quo. And then they have guilt also, whether have I performed well, have I delivered up to the mark, this kind of guilt is there. Then disillusionment, like I'm off the track, this is not for me, they may get that kind of idea, then they get demotivated, and then they run off the track also. They can it is not, they may run around, they may, as you said, they may go back to the square one. This is the time you got to pull them back, they may go back to the square one. Then comes demotivation. Who am I? Their self-esteem go down, confidence level is low. This is the time you got to infuse motivation, all that. Then they get angry also, sometimes frustration and stress. I'm going to be hostile to this, and they ventilate, and then gradually acceptance comes. It doesn't come, in the beginning stage. It comes at a late, after a dip, and it's coming, when the spiral in the upward turn only is coming, gradual acceptance. So we need to wait. This stage maybe, I want to use the laser one. This what is a laser pointer? Okay, see here, this is actually dormant period. This the trend may go down. You may think that I need to wind up just to pull. This is a time you need to put the gear up. You need to gear up, and then just to have to get the acceptance. That's why they say we should not quit. 99 degree and the one more degree, that may boils down, right? So that effort, is very important, crucial. We need to observe this, and the pattern you need to be familiar with, so that we'll wait for it. This can be a dormant period, and then that punctuated equilibrium comes. The sudden change is coming here. I can see in the future the gradual acceptance. Then moving forward, this can work, and I can be, I can do good, and also they progress. Good to, they can go to great also. Good to great. So our job is to level of support. We need to prepare, ground, and then prepare the phase, and acceptance phase, and then commitment phase. We need to have good contact with the people, communicate, close proximity, being close with them, create awareness, then understanding, and then positive perception. Build the, perception is important. Recently I attended 5 days intensive customer experience program. The customer experience is being defined as, how they are perceiving your brand, how you are able to make effective of your touch points, how everyone is perceiving your brand in a different way, so the positive perception is very important. And then adoption, and then comes to you institutionalize, the change level of, this is how you go about giving support for your subordinates. Then see here, failure to make the meaningful contact, that will be disaster. No, it will pull you down. Then inadequate awareness, that can be a causal factor. Then if you look at here, poor understanding. Why? Because the awareness is not created properly. That may lead to, if there's any gap here, awareness, then it may lead to poor understanding. Then negative perception. So I'm giving the two extreme side. You need to be very careful. If you don't build a positive perception, it may go to negative perception. And then see, if you don't adoption, it may result in rejection. Then if you don't institutionalize or reinforce, then adoption fails. Go back to square one. I mean, are you with me?
Very much, sir.
Okay. So here you see this table explaining the different phases. First the define phase, how institutionalize the benefits and identify the task and constraints. The processes you define, and the team, involve the team, empowering the team, and individual clarify the objectives. First, this is very important. There should not be any ambiguity. Role clarity should be there. All that. Then plan, implement the strategy, establish the priorities. The planning phase, you have consult and encourage ideas, nurture the ideas, and assess the skills, set individual targets, objectives, and responsibilities. In project management, we say RASI chart, roles, defining the roles and responsibilities, all that. Then brief about the plan, brief the team. This is very important in the participative management. You need to involve them in the planning process, briefing the team, check understanding, check their understanding level, and answer the questions. Seek feedback, all that. Then if you look at listen, and you have to listen constantly. This is very, very important. Listening. Why this jumping here? Okay. In support, communication, communicate properly, and report the progress, maintain standards, establish the standard operating procedures, coordinate and reconcile if there is any issues, bugs, or any change has to be done. You have to reconcile. Any clarity, you have to be with them. Support them and advise, assist, mentor. You have to coach and recognize. And the evaluation phase, monitoring and controlling. It goes in all the places. It is spread across. There you have to do a review and start again. Sometimes there is a bug that we call in the Kaizen management Muda. Muda means waste. There may be some problem. So the problem means you have to stop and start again. That's the Kaizen approach. Then summarize progress, review objectives, recognize success, learn from the mistakes. You got to appreciate. If there's a failure, don't work problem. You encourage the failure, and assess the performance, guide, train, and coach and mentor. Okay, so this is how we align the team. It's a very vague. If you ask me in the beginning, I told you how you align the team. With the individual level to task to individual level, and then task, then and the group level. This is how you align, defining and the planning and briefing and supporting and evaluating. Then this is all about the people. Now we look at the systems dimension, right? Systems, you have to tackle. Vendors want to deliver their systems quickly and efficiently, and that will be their priority. Vendors, the time, scope, and quality, all that has to be in the constraints, or project constraints. You need to take care. They must show the initiative, perseverance, and efficiency, and honesty, self-confidence, audacity, humility, humble enough to accept the mistakes, collaborate with the parties, vendors, professionally approach, and the protection of the brand systems. This all you have to cater to the system, building the system. So everyone will pursue their own priorities. People work for themselves, not the global objective. Of course, people work for themselves. How you build together, bringing alignment with the people, with the corporate objectives. That is your challenge. Okay. Now the process we addressed. Now we'll address the systems we address. Now we are go to the process. Okay. Now in the process, in this phase, managers and process owners will be afraid of losing control and risking their own personal objectives and interests. What's happening here is we saw balanced matrix where the authority is being, if you give the authority to the functional managers, project managers don't have any authority. So it's a weak matrix. They cannot carry out the task. So we looked at so the project managers should be empowered with they have to be given a freedom to exercise their authority. If you have, that's the authority matrix, right? It has to be well defined. How, to what extent they can do all that. If there is any escalation, whom should escalate, all that has to be spelled out. So project team and project business process owners use the systems to make money, and systems have to do what the vendors say they do. They don't put their nose. They build the systems and processes. That makes the money in the system. You look at everything created like Facebook is just a platform, right? Who is providing data? We are feeding them. They are making billions. It's out of nothing. They are just created a platform, and we are giving the data. We are building this company, actually, Facebook or LinkedIn, any platforms you see. So the system is building, bringing money for them. And they may give promotional campaigns. They give free initially, then they will charge you later on. So deliver the cost saving and efficiencies. Then they empire. They get the bigger market share. We need to create a trust, relieve tension, and inspire through example. Fair, it should be reasonable, win-win relationship, respect. And you see the corporate corporate values, respect, as one of the values.
Yes.
And share praise, be cheerleader. Even a small success you have to celebrate. And existing priorities versus a need of Phoenix, education, collaboration, addressing the priorities, needs, all that. Then united we stand, divided we fall. That kind of culture you need to build in this building a process oriented. And you do not get only process centric. You should be results oriented also. You should be balancing out. And then if you look at here, all these three has to be worked out. But the very important, the sensitive thing is the people. People use the systems and are focused on their daily needs. Who is using the system ultimately? You have sophisticated technology. Today I just attended a ATD conference, being hosted in Dubai. I attended a couple of days, yesterday and today. And they are saying the technology should be as a background. It should not be a foreground, even the Zoom, all the features we have, raise your hand, chat box on. Many features are there. But all that has to be, at the background. It's not a foreground, right? We as a facilitator has to, effectively choose what are the options, and it has to be leveraged for our own benefit. Not necessarily we need, actually this builder, there are many features are there, there are in the software, many features. This features build for the software perspective, software guys build, not the trainer's perspective, right? So we have to make use of it. Then we need to be tactful. That's what, compassionate, consistent, show humility and sympathetic, and show the opportunities for them and their careers, and addressing what is in it for me, that we need to address. When they join, you need to give a roadmap. I'm joining as a teller, then I got to move as an operation officer, operation manager, branch manager. I need to give a roadmap, the career ladder. Different domains will have greater impacts on specific populations. You need to address all the segments. So the people use the systems and are focused on their daily needs. The systems, for example, in the Alsaya, that company which I told you, the retail segment, there the frontline executives, for those who are facing the customers, customer interfacing staff, they have been given access to all the policy and procedures, protocols, everything in the link, the portal they are given. If anything happens, the frequently asked questions, they can easily refer back, and then they can be a bulletproof, any troubleshooting they can do in the front line. That's how I'm saying they have to be, given the systems and focused on their daily needs, and will fear what these new systems and processes mean to them. Cost saving and efficiency to the people means We need to increase the efficiency and also reduce the cost. Helping everyone know what their specific contribution is and helping them understand the end game is very critical. That's what the Stevens begin with the end in mind. Understand the end game is very critical. Okay, again coming back to constant change, organization live an ever-changing environment, and their survival depends on their ability to adapt to new demands and opportunities. So in this kind of situation, as a change agent, what we supposed to do as a change agent role. If you, for example, here water. I mean, if you look at this water, if I put a pinch of salt of water, salt, right? What happens? The color remains the same. The color remains, but the taste changes. This is a catalyst role. We make the change, but then we disappear. And then the people who are the friends, they say they have to cheer up. No, we made it. No, that's the leader's role. We make the change, and then they have to cheer up. We did it themselves. No, they have to feel that no, they did it themselves. Okay. So most organizations change efforts fail. The efforts fail to produce a lasting change. Some of the most important reasons why change efforts do not produce meaningful change are the change was not tied to the organization's strategy. That's a problem. There's no linkage, the strategy. The change was seen as a fad or a quick fix problem. It is not a permanent solution. It's a quick fix. It's like a capsule. No, you're giving like a capsule. That will not solve the problem. The change involved grandiose expectations that were inconsistent with the economic and political realities. Okay, those leading the change had a short-term perspective and provided inadequate leadership. That's a problem. There was a lack of measurable goals and timetables. Those affected by the change were afraid of the unknown. Those involved in the change lacked the necessary commitment to sustain the change. Okay, these are the reasons for you need to address. Okay, embrace the change. Don't be scared of it. Now the COVID crisis, we need to embrace it. Right? Challenge yourself and your team to ask the why questions every day. You need to address. That's what the Japanese, the Kaizen also, they encourage why. Even the Six Sigma, we need to aim for the high hanging fruits. Not low hanging fruits. This is a type of organization I want to work for. They need to get the pride. Sense of belonging. You need to create that kind of culture. If you look at this, Kurt Levines is the theory, original theory, and then Dr. John Cotter, he developed the Kurt Levines theory and he expanded it. He stretched Kurt Levines theory. If you look at this is a freezing, refreezing, and then refreezing. Right, these three colors denotes that. In this unfreezing stage, what is happening? Creating a climate for change. Here, how you first and foremost, for any change initiative to happen, you need to create an urgency. For example, I attended this couple of 5 days intensive workshop on customer experience. The workshop timing is very limited. Within 5 minutes, I need to build a prototype. How prototype? We built many innovative ideas. Like they give some product and then they show, and then I have to give the usage should not be the same usage, but I have to use this bottle for different usage, like that. So they gave me a masking tape. I said we can use it as a mask, a face mask. Things like weird ones. Then it should be funny also. Then I told them it can be the tape can be handle for taking the dogs out, and I give another idea of it can be kept here in the to carry your mobile phone and water bottle, the tap, tape like that. So you at the time because within the 5 minutes I need to accelerate my innovation happens. Innovative people mostly they tend to postpone. If you look at creative people, they gather resources. They don't deliver. You have to put the timer so that they deliver. So creating urgency is very, very important for any change intervention. Then you need to create a coalition of key stakeholders. It can be a cross-functional teams, involving the key players, empowering them and involving them as a change agent. Once you involve them, they will transpire whatever the change, to their respective fields. These are like, gray point. What would I say? They are key players. If you address this player, they will influence many other people. And then develop a vision and strategy. Build a compelling story. You need to prepare a 1 minute pitch, elevator pitch, they say. You have to prepare a vision speech, that compelling, tell a story, authentic story. Encourage your senior leaders to share their story. This is how we do this, creating a climate for change. Then move on to the communicating your vision. They need to know what you're envisioning, communicate the vision, empower action, and get quick wins. This one I made actually while I was doing for a previous batch. I was in India vacation time. I prepare audio. I can share with you, audio with YouTube, and you can see how I explain. In addition to what I'm explaining, I will also share with you a link. Okay, Anami, later.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then empower action. It's all happening in this change your place. Then debriefing. In this last stage, you have to implement and sustain the change, like reinforcement, right? Leverage the wins to drive the change, and embed within the culture. And this is my link. I have given this my link. The book Re-Engineering Readiness Assessment is selling in for $44 in Amazon. Is selling this book actually. This I published this based on this Re-Engineering Readiness Assessment. People, how far they're ready. The Alstom, I interviewed around 265 respondents, and then I found out what is the current practices and what they would like the management to demonstrate, the gap, okay, based on that. So last time, you remember that there was a question we were facing, like different kinds of change, like I was explaining, developmental stage, transitional stage change, and transformational change. This is what I was telling you. This is like a Kaizen, continuous improvement. You have seen, Murugappa Group, they have total quality management. This is they aim for step-by-step incremental changes here, even from a developmental changes. Just go by step by step. This is, even the Kaizen philosophy is based on this. Then if you look at the transitional change, you have new processes, new systems. The design change is there. You can see. This is how it looks. The paradigm shift is happening. The mind shift happens. Here, if you look at transformational changes, a radical redesign. For example, re-engineering is I would say, is a transformational change. Downsizing and the major restructuring, re-engineering, these are all aiming for a transformational change. So the more, if you go towards this right extreme, the y-axis high, the intensity is low. The more you go this side, transformational, is a degree of complexity is more, and cost also more, uncertainty and frustration is more. For this, especially for a re-engineering and transformational change, you need to have a top management commitment and support is very important. And the potential for the resistance to change also very high. When you go towards this y-axis, towards this transformational change, the resistance will be very high. So that's why I propose resistance to change. We saw previous slides how the resistance happening: hostility, anxiety, fear, doubt, self-doubt, then slowly acceptance, and then buy-in comes. Right? There's a gradual process. That's how you have to tackle resistance to change. I talked about Darwin's theory, right? The survival of the fittest. If you look at we borrowed this concept from this biological theory. Here, if you look at the species, from millions of years ago, we had dinosaurs. They disappeared. There are many species came and gone. There are evolution is happening, and over the period of time. And if you look at this space, the rapid change is happening. We can see a tangible change. And then if you can see, there is a dormant stage. For example, the COVID crisis just came, it escalated from China, Wuhan, and then, it spread across the world. Now, if you see different cluster, I think the sister or brother is, one family has come, another cluster of, strain, a different strain has come.
Yes.
So the dormant stage, another dormant stage, punctuated, again is coming, another wave is coming, different wave. So that means that is hybrid, it is genetical mutation. Mutant is happening, mutational change.
Yes, mutation, yeah.
So this is called dormant, stable environment, dormancy happening. And then here this is called punctuated equilibrium, this stage. the change happening, this jump, the jump is called punctuated equilibrium, rapidly changing the environment. Okay, next one. Kurt Levines, he has proposed force field analysis. Okay, here if you look at, there is a two sides of pulling each other. Give me a shake, Naveen, and let us do a tug of war. And I used to give this kind of role play, games, students do. So the more heavier, hefty guys, he wins, right? You can pull me out, because you're stronger than me, so you can pull me out. So the stronger party always wins, right? So likewise here, whichever the force is strong, that wins, the pulling force. For example, here in the scenario, in the hospital facility, like in the COVID crisis, they would like to introduce a new machinery, new equipments. They want to upgrade the hospital services with the new equipment. I see in Italy, just a couple of days in the newspaper I saw, they deployed the robotics to attend to the patients, COVID patients. That's amazing. The technology can go to that extent. Robots are attending to the patients, and close to the bedside. I see, in the newspaper I saw, just read 2 or 3 days back. It's already there in the Italy. They done. So here they would like to, this hospital, they would like to upgrade the technology. So there is this side. If you see the points with the factors, variables, patients wants a new services. Patients demand. There is a demand from the patients. Here, and then improve efficiency of patient care. It will improve the efficiency and increase the patient throughput. It will the efficiency will go. The cycle time will reduce. Control rising staff and maintenance. It may escalate the cost. Cost wise is more. These are all factors I put here. Whereas here, loss of staff over time. The staff, what they think, if I automate the process, my overtime, I may not get the overtime, because my job may be a question mark, because fully automated, I may be obsolete, right? Then staff, they get frightened after new technology, because I have to upgrade my skills, right? I am comfortable with my status quo. But if you are bringing new technology, new sophisticated thing, I need to upgrade myself. This feeling of insecurity comes, and cost of introduction and disruption. These are all pulling force. See here, if you see, there's two sides. Whichever is stronger, that will win. For example, in this stage, here the patient's demand is there, efficiency factor. All these are having more factor. Variables 12 here, whereas 10 point. So which is when this hospital will go for that, or what? What will happen? You are not with me, actually. That's the problem. Whichever stronger will win. So here they will introduce they'll automate, right?
They'll definitely automate, sir.
Automate. Okay. Here, for example, a person wants to lose a weight, and he's obese. And the driving force is actually, if he really wants, he should feel that I'm unhealthy. The habits, whatever. But at the same time, there are legions of in your brain going, no time to exercise. Something is telling you, negativity, going on in your mind. And here, culture admires thin people. If I believe in that, then I may keep a six-pack in front of me. I may get an inspiration, vision board. I keep that. That will propel me. But here, whereas genetic, there are other side of my mind may say, genetically, my dad, my generation, I have genetic factor. So I cannot make any impact on this. So that may pull me down. Here I'm embarrassed to be a fat. I need to feel ashamed of being a fat, obese. Here there is no money for equipment. I may give excuse. This is costly, man. How can I afford to get my treadmill and all that? And I need to have bad self-image. I need to be ashamed of my shape. So I need to get rid of. So no interest in exercise. I don't get, get interested. Then believe exercise can help. I need to strongly believe that. At the same time, I need to diet control. If I eat too much, what's happened, no? So if you look at, no, you have to see, introspect, whichever is pulling more, if restraining forces is more, then you may not get the desired effect. Desired result will not happen. This is how Kurt Levines model, has been applied there. Kurt Levines, the pulling force. Here, creating a lasting change, Dalton's change model, what is propagating is change will not occur unless there is a sufficient pain and tension to motivate it. For example, you booked your ticket, for example, exam on 7th of July. So you need to get the pressure, tension. And if you still you are playful and getting diversion and not able to focus, then problem. You need to you have to feel the tension. You need to, if the pain, then you will realize that you will start preparing. Actually, that say use stress. A little bit of stress is positive. Actually, the stress is positive.
Yes.
So the generalized goal can be, for you need to get rid of this formal social ties, maybe the WhatsApp groups, chatting, all that, texting, this side or come. You need to form a new habit, new relationships, Then self-doubt too, you have to heighten self-esteem. Then external motives for change to internal motives for change. The inward, inside out approach. That will propel you to make a desire, make you to pass the exam. Then, for example, re-energizing a mature organization. For example, we have seen the startup introduction phase to startup company, then get to the maturity and then decline phase. In a mature company, what will be the scenario? What is happening there, on the board level, organization? You look at the startup company, they have very dynamic, agile, they experiment, they establish the program, secure,
they're very flexible,
prove validity.
They are very flexible also.
Flexibility, high flexibility. There is no today one program initiative, tomorrow there's something, they're very dynamic. Here the boards having hands-on, operational, and focused on mission and program delivery. They are delivery. They wanted to get things done. Just do it, like Nike philosophy. Just do it. That is what they do. Startup company. Here, adolescents, once they grow, the growth phase, they have additional paid staff. They may build the team, grow community awareness. Here, the board level, less day-to-day, various committee form. They may form, formulate various committee. They may form steering committees to fill the staffing plan gaps. Then the mature stage, once they go to the mature for 50 years, 60 years, like 200 years, Murugappa Group, I understand. See, strategic growth, improved operations, diverse fundraising, these are all happening. Strategic growth and the shift to governance. They may establish, institutionalize, strategy focus, fundraising and board recruitment become a priority here. And the decline phase, what happens? Shift in community needs, loss of funding, lack of strategy or vision, and disengaged board or a disagreement on organizational future. High turnover is resulting there. Okay, now next one. It's I'm giving a extra additional slide. It's not the book actually. Here I'm saying methods for work. Now your problem, the resistance is there. How now adult andragogy we are dealing. You need to address the problem, right? So how you tackle? For example, you have problem of uncertainty. The morale you found out in the pulse check. You have uncertainty. How you build the overcoming resistance? The strategy will be develop a trust, climate for change, communicate through portal, employee portal, build a trust. That's very important. And you feel anxiety is there, learning anxiety. Develop a plan, give a detailed milestones, prepare, and bring the people in alignment, bring them all in the one page, same page. And self-interest. Identify the need for change and how employees can be affected by it. This we need to make. Then fear of loss. There is, there's indication showing that the morale of the employees, the fear of loss, insecurity is creeping in. Be positive, create a win-win situation. That is very important. For example, the COVID crisis or any crisis, they look up to the leadership. How you are behaving in this crisis situation, how you are supportive, how you are encouraging the people, embracing the people. This is very important. And Steve Jobs, during the crisis, he didn't sack anybody. He didn't downsize. Instead, he was looking at inward operational excellence. He looked at funding for an R&D, and when the market bounced back, he came out with quantum leap, right? So that's what should happen. Be positive, create a win-win situation. So what I'm trying to say here, the people, if you sack, what happens? The people who are leaving, for example, Uber sacked around other day through Zoom, like this meeting. There's via Zoom, 3,000 people been sacked. 3,000, I think, and by communicating through via Zoom meeting. What happens? The people who are inside the company, they get the trauma, fear of the what you say, insecure feeling. The fear element. It is more damaging than people who are left. People who are leaving, they may get the pain and then they get other job, they carry on with their life. But people who are already sticking on to lingering with your company, they are damaging. The morale is getting down.
Morale is getting damaged.
Fear, pardon?
Morale is getting, their morale will be damaged.
Yeah. So the fear of loss of control, support and carry out employee engagement. Engagement has to be carried out. So this is how we, okay.